Hey, this is Rocket Brain Surgeon. Today we're looking at the Centurion 7-1 starring SR360. I like this replay a lot because it shows what the Centurion can do when things break in the right fashion for the tank. The tank overall is not a scout, it is not a brawler, it is not a pusher, it is not a flanker. It really doesn't do a lot of that. What it does do is it snipes pretty well. The tank doesn't really have the speed to flank or scout. It doesn't have the armor to push, but it does have a very good gun with solid gun depression and a tough turret. And to be honest, just having those few things is really all you need to make a significant difference in an average pub game. The map is highway and SR has headed into the north. You're going to notice throughout the replay he is very diligent about playing hull down, just peeking his gun over the rise while shooting the enemy, hiding the hull and using that tough turret, the nice gun depression, and the accurate gun to his advantage. It's fun to point out that there's a Centurion 7-1 across the distance too. SR is bouncing shots off of his turret. You can see that tough turret armor in action both ways. This is the type of situation where a lot of people go wrong. They would rush the action and move forward because, oh, we got to be aggressive or some nonsense. But that would not play to the strengths of the tanks. The strengths of both the T-30 and the Cent-1 are in these situations where they're hiding their vulnerable hull, exposing only the tough turret, and let their guns do the talking. So the enemy Centurion is going to die here from hatch shots. And it's important to see that, yeah, while the turret is pretty tough and that guy bounced, 4 or 5 shots off of his turret, he's not invincible. And you have to remember that while playing with the tank, that you can't just sit there for prolonged periods and let them shoot the turret, because they will find the hatch at some point. So that bit I mentioned about patience just before, a T-29 and now a JT they've just gotten impatient. There's no other word for it. And they're exposing their vulnerable side and hull armor, and that's what happens when you don't play to the strength of your tank. If they wanted to play a tank that was going to push in that fashion, well, pick something else before you hit battle. A lot of people ask how to get better at World of Tanks or even anything, and often it's not making some crazy decision. For example, people always want to know, oh, what is the secret? What is the tips and tricks? Oh, he must be hacking, because they can't see that there's no magic formula. It's making not only the right choice this time, but it's making the right choice next time and the time after that. And it's just making more right choices over time than the enemy. And the right choices are not even that hard. Initially in this game, the T-29 and the JT were playing hull down, and you could see before they went YOLO, they were 100%. It was no problem. But they got impatient. They couldn't make the right decision for long enough. When you hit battle, you have 15 minutes on the clock. That's 15 minutes of good decisions. Not 5 minutes, not 6, not 7 minutes. 15 minutes of good decisions. So Town has failed because this is highway and North has the advantage getting into Town very quickly. So SR is moving back to defend. You can see that the top speed on the Centurion is about 40 kmh. It's not that great. This is why you shouldn't play it in the traditional medium role of a flanker or a spotter. It just does not have the agility or speed to do either of those things. We're going to talk about the aiming just a little bit. The gun is pretty accurate, and if you've been looking at his aiming habits, you'll notice that he doesn't aim all the way, even for a long-range shot such as that. It takes a little bit of know-how to determine which guns are going to be able to do this and which guns are not. In general, this gun is going to be very accurate, and you can snapshot reliably. On something like a Japanese tank or a Chinese tank, they're just not going to have the accuracy that you need, and you're going to want to aim in a little bit more. The spot where SR is sitting right now is actually more defensible than it looks. It looks like he's just kind of sitting out in the middle of nowhere. But the trees in front block view from anything beyond the river. Even when he was spotted and shot from across the river, he can just back up, and there's a couple silos which he can use to cut off the angles while he continues to let his gun work. Again, he shows that patience with the tank, playing to its strengths, using that good accuracy and quick aim time to get off long-range shots rather than go play in the river with everybody. It's not a brawling tank, it's a sniping tank, and he continues to make that work for him. When he started the game, he went to a place where he could use that haul-down potential and sniping of the tank. When he needed to flex back and protect town, he found a spot where he could again use the accuracy, and now he's hauled down compared to the tanks in front of him. Very consistent play. In this game, he dealt 6,000 damage, but just as important, he bounced several thousand damage off that turret. Stay hauled down, my friends.